Please understand that sex, politics, and religion cannot be spoken in a derogatory manner in a Toastmasters meeting. Kindly keep your telephones, cell phones, switch off or in silent mode. Also, when you're in the virtual mode, podium, you will have a screen to stare at. So we would encourage all members as well as guests to keep themselves on in video mode. And when you're in video mode, kindly keep yourselves upright and in a sitting position. With all of this, I'm introducing myself as the president of VirtuoMasters Club today, and a huge round of applause for the 11th meeting at VirtuoMasters. As Krishnesh had mentioned, we are in for a lot of enthusiasm, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting meeting. But first, I would like to officially open this meeting. I do not have my gavel, so I will use my hand and open the meeting officially. Thank you, and a huge round of applause again, please. While I was a child, whenever I used to get a bout of hiccups, you know what are hiccups? I don't know what you call it in the vernacular, but hiccups are something, scientifically, I think it is when your diaphragm is sort of like restricted and it affects your breathing. That's when you start with a hiccup. And sometimes I used to have these indefinite time of hiccups. It would go on continuously, whether I was in school or at home. It was probably some physiological problem that I underwent, but every time my mom would try to bring out a solution by telling me to lift my tongue, and she would put a few, a half spoon of sugar granules under my tongue. And immediately I would, forget all about the hiccuping. And I do not still know whether there is any scientific explanation to why the hiccups would stop immediately. And I would get back into my normal mode, back into, whatever I was doing. So similarly, I feel that in Toastmasters, we face a lot of hiccups. And believe me, there are so many moments that I wish that half spoon of sugar would come into my life and stop the hiccups once and for all. And we at Toastmasters here, we do that as well in terms of evaluation or encouragement, or by simply just being there for another fellow Toastmaster as a half spoon of sugar to help ourselves out. So a huge round of applause and a warm welcome to all the guests who are present over here. Normally we have a reading of the, a recording of the meeting which took place last time, the last meeting, and it is done by the secretary of the club. It is called the minutes of the meeting. The secretary of our club is Shalu Gupta, and she has shared the minutes of the last meeting on our members group. And so can I consider the minutes of the last meeting as passed? Members, kindly show a thumbs up, please. Thank you. So the minutes are passed, and thank you so much, Toastmaster Shalu, for doing the needful. I can see quite a few guests over here today, so I would love to introduce them or take the introduction. I can see Kshitij. If Kshitij, you could please unmute yourself and turn on your video and introduce yourself, say who you are, and how you came to know about our club meeting today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kshitij, and I am from Bihar. Actually, a family friend of mine introduced me to this Toastmasters Club for communication skills. That's
great. And what do you do, Kshitij?
I am a student.
You're a
I
student.
just gave my 12 boards this
Okay.
year.
So this is a perfect platform for you to know about public speaking. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Same, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see Ankit Srivastava. Is Ankit a Toastmaster?
Yes, I am a part of IBM Blue Voice.
Okay. But
he's the VPPR of IBM Blue Voice.
Yeah, I'm the VPPR.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Right. Hital. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If you can unmute and turn on your video, please.
Yes, you pronounced my name correctly. Hi, everyone. My name is Hital, and I am a guest invited over by Brati. And I am, I work with IBM. So I also joined the IBM Toastmasters sessions.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the session. Palak?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Palak Vaidya?
Hi all, a very good afternoon. This is Palak, and yeah, I've attended few meetings as a guest, so I would be looking forward to this meeting also. Thank you all for having me.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And on the podium also, we have got a lot of distinguished Toastmasters over here. I would like to acknowledge the presence. The first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our immediate past district director, DTM Jennifer Helen Ghosh. Thank you, ma'am, for joining in today. She's also a member of our club, but I have got to do my formalities. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. We have got our past district director, DTM Sandeep Raturi, who has taken the initiative to grace our occasion today. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in today. And we can hear more about him because he's going to play a very, very important role in today's meeting. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the current Associate Club Growth Director of District 41. She's also a lovely, charming lady, DTM Shivpriya Gauri. Thank you so much for joining in today. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of DTM Brati Shankar Ghosh, who has been my past division director. Thank you, sir, so much. He's also a member of the club, but I need to acknowledge him as well. All in all, there is, right. If I've missed out on any guests, I think we can get back to you towards the end of the session because we have got quite a bit going on today. For this, normally on a regular meeting, we have a person who's also known as the Master of Ceremonies or the MC, who's going to take the meeting forward. Every Toastmaster meeting really looks forward to this dynamic lady. And I think she's on the rounds, to be the team mod or the Toastmaster of the day for a meeting because she brings such a lot of energy and enthusiasm to the meeting. I'm talking about none other than the Iron Lady of she might be the immediate past district director, but she still remains the Iron Lady of our district. Please help me welcome with a huge round of virtual applause, DTM Jennifer Helen Ghosh as the Toastmaster of the day. Welcome, ma'am, the podium is yours.
Thank you so very much, and a very warm good evening to all fellow Toastmasters of VirtuoMasters Toastmasters Club. Now, I am so happy to be here on this platform, the Zoom platform as they call it, because we are going to zoom right into the meeting today, and we are going to have fabulous speakers and evaluators, and we have something really fabulous lined up for you. I would say Krish has done his homework very well. Now, I want to just jump into the meeting because I am bursting with excitement basically to take you on that aha moment with me. So the theme for today is aha. Now many of you must be realizing why I've chosen, and if you haven't, by the end of this meeting you will definitely know why I chose this theme as the aha moment for all of us. Now in life, we are having this lockdown, pandemic. We are unable to meet face to face and have that huggy-duggy and lovey-lovey talks and, be around each other and, give the jadoo ka jhappi like in the Munna Bhai movie. This jadoo ka jhappi is a magical hug, which I truly, truly love because it helps me to sort of get your energy, and I love giving this magic hug to everybody I meet. So we are going through pandemic. We are going through days when we are locked down. I'm in Bombay for the last 5 months. I may be with my sons, my dear Toastmasters, but it is not, a thing which I want to continue being with. I want my house. I want to get back home. I want to have my personal space. So there are a lot of things that, we are missing out on in this pandemic world. Other than that, in life, you and I have faced so many challenges, and we can keep on crying about our challenges and woes and saying, why me? Why me? So before we go further, let me tell you a small story about my aha moment in life. When I was just a toddler, and Krish, you know this story, so don't, please do laugh about it. when I was a toddler, this is what I heard from my parents. They were all sitting in the veranda, or you could call that the outside space of the house. In Bengali, they call it uthon. I'm not very sure what you call it in English. Maybe canopy, an extended veranda. All right. And I was crawling around and happily enjoying myself. I was a fat, chubby baby, and people only wanted to squeeze my cheeks and, like hug me, that magical hug. But, and there were all these old ladies, not old ladies, my mother included was there, and the grandmothers and the aunties, and they were all chatting, and they were not paying attention to me. And in the corner, there was a mother doggy who had just given pups to about 14, 15 small little puppies. And I crawled up and I went towards the mother doggy, and I was so very inquisitive. And I saw the pups were suckling from her. And I, also went up very nicely and was just about to put my mouth in the mother's and suckle from the mother doggy when my mother quickly pulled me away. And I got to hear this many years later, and I felt that must have been an aha moment, not only for my mother, but for me. But I really couldn't experience that milk which the dog would have given me. Maybe I would have become like a Mowgli or someone like that. I would have been even more aha. So on that note, as the teamot today, let me take you on a Toastmasters aha moment, because today everybody here is just going to be upping their game and coming out with something very special for all of us. Toastmasters have 3 sections to the entire segments that we have in a Toastmasters meeting. The first one being the prepared speeches, where all the speakers truly prepare and come and deliver their speeches so that they can give the best possible speech. They really labor it out for a couple of weeks, and then they come and deliver here. And we have great evaluators who help them become even better speakers. The second section, which we are not having today because it's a speech marathon, is the table topics section, in which all members are encouraged to come and think on their feet, meaning think quickly, think with style, think with structure, think with logic, and be able to speak on a topic which is thrown at them on the spot. So that is a table topics section, which helps us to become impromptu speakers, better impromptu speakers, so that later on when we are facing our boss, when it's a one-to-one evaluation with your boss, you're able to, hook-wink him or speak better and be able to clarify and justify your points to him better. And the third section of the Toastmasters meetings are the evaluation section, or rather, shall we say, the feedback session. And this feedback session, or the section where the evaluators are given constructive feedback to grow and become a better, unique version of themselves, is the evaluation section. It helps us to get the feedback and to implement those feedbacks in our next speeches, so that we can improve and we can see the improvement in our journey. So today we have for you a very fantastic general evaluator. He is none other than the past district director, and he is also now the district chief judge. This person, when I asked him, what is your aha moment? So he said, do you know that people know me for being a perfect planner? I have credibility because I am known to perfectly plan things. So he planned the birth of his second son on his birthday. Can you beat it? His second son's birthday, and his birthday is on the same day. So this has elevated his credibility in society because he's always known as the best master planner. Now, this gentleman also says that it helps him in both ways. It helps him in saving costs also, because now he can celebrate jointly his son's birthday and his birthday without spending too much on another birthday. So don't you think this master planner is a real great man of the day? Let me introduce to you none other than DTM Sandeep Raturi, who will explain to us the role that he is here to do. Over to you, DTM Sandeep Raturi.
A very good evening to all of you, and thank you very much, Janidhi, for giving that introduction of mine. First of all, let me apologize for this unkempt look, but I think COVID-19 has, in a way, given us some sort of a liberty to not shave for quite a number of days at one go. We could not do earlier. I work in the travel industry, so you can imagine what is happening in my life at the moment. Nobody is traveling anymore, and except for twiddling my thumbs or for flipping the channel, I have nothing else to do. So shaving is also something which I'm avoiding. At least I'm doing it only once a week. Anyway, today I'm going to play the role of a general evaluator. First of all, thank you to Krish for giving me this opportunity. And as I said in the beginning itself, I'm not here in the as a district officer or as a past district director, but as a Toastmaster, because I also want to improve myself as a communicator, and this is also an opportunity for me to speak in front of an unfamiliar audience. And I think that this online communication is something in which I'm not very good at, because I love to look at the eye of the people while I'm talking, which is something which we don't get when we are speaking online. But anyway, Toastmasters teaches us many things, and online communication is another thing which we can learn from Toastmasters and how we can do it effectively. So my role as a general evaluator would be to evaluate the different aspects of a Toastmasters meeting, not only the speakers and the role players, but everything that goes in the meeting today is going to be evaluated by me and by my team. And when I say my team, of course, it is not possible for me to evaluate everything. I have a very competent team with me to evaluate the specific segments or specific aspects of a Toastmasters meeting. And I would be inviting them one by one so that they can introduce themselves and can tell us about the role that they're going to play today. So I'll start with the timer of the day. It is the tag team. So may I now request the timer of the day to please come and tell us about it. The timer of the day is Toastmaster Abradyuti Datta. I hope I have pronounced the name correct, but it is Abradyuti Datta.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening to every Toastmaster and other speakers and guests. Today I'm the timer, and I'm exhilarated to take this role for the second time. My role as the timer will be to track.
Could you please be a little louder, Abradyuti? Could you please be a little louder?
Yeah. So as a timer, I'm really exhilarated to take this role for the second time, and I'll be keeping a track of the time of the speeches of the speakers, and also the evaluation section also. For this, I have 3 colored cue cards, green, yellow and red. Okay, so green, yellow and red. First of all, in the speech section, the time will be for 5 to 7 minutes. I'll catch the green card at the 5th minute, the yellow card at the 6th minute, and the red card at the 7th minute. I will keep flashing the red card until the speaker finishes his or her speech. Then there will be a buffer period of 30 seconds on either section of the time limit. And in the next section, which is the evaluation section, the duration will be 2 to 3 minutes. I will flash the green card at the 2nd minute. I will flash the yellow card at the 2.5 minute and the green card at the red minute. Here also a buffer period of 30 seconds will be available to the speaker for evaluation. I will be submitting my final report to the general evaluator when called upon to do so. Thank you, and over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you very much for introducing your role, the timer of the day, Abhijyoti. Now I'll be good.
Sir, this PPT is not working. I will look in between. I had a PPT to share. The PPT is actually not working right now. Yeah, now it's working. So this is the prepare speech section, 5 to 7 minutes. Evaluation section is 2 to 3 minutes. And finally the report.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Abhijyoti. Now with that, we go to the second supplementary evaluator who is going to help me today in evaluating the R's and arms. So may I request the R counter of the day, Toastmaster Harsh Gupta. So please come and tell us about it.
Yeah, greetings, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Harsh Gupta and I am the R counter for the day. So the purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch of pause fillers by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I'll be listening for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I'll also listen for filler sounds, including and I'll also note when a speaker repeats or a word or a phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker uses expressions. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. And personally, I have a proclivity of saying a lot of R's and Ums. I'm sure that I'm going to keep you busy even today. But I just hope I don't embarrass myself too much because I'm just playing the role of a general evaluator. But anyway, with that, we go to another important role player of the day, that is the grammarian. And today that role is being played by Toastmaster Anurag Jain. And I would request him to please come and tell us about his role.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and to-be Toastmasters. I'm Toastmaster Anurag and I'm your grammarian for the day. Now, as a grammarian, my role is to pay close attention to the good and the not so good usage of English language. But in today's meeting, I doubt there will be hardly any not so good usage of English language. Anyways, moving forward, it is also my duty to introduce you to the word of the day. So the word of the day that I have chosen is a feeling that I enjoy each and every time I come at VirtuoMasters Club. So the word of the day is exhilarated. It is an adjective. It means very excited and happy. An example will be, at the end of the race, I was exhilarated. Each and every time a speaker uses the word of the day, everybody is requested to use the applaud icon that is in the Zoom application so that we can motivate other speakers to use the word of the day as well. I will present my report when called upon to do so by the General Evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, the grammarian of the day. And now before I hand over the online stage to the Toastmaster of the day, let me say a little bit about evaluation. You see, the other day I was watching a Hindi web series that's currently on in I think in Netflix or in Amazon, and in which Nasiruddin Shah says one dialogue, and he says in Hindi, I'm telling you in Hindi, he says that prashansha ek kalakar ki dushman hoti hai, and which is quite paradoxical because in Toastmaster we say that we often seek for validation, we seek for applause, and we say that applause is something that keeps us going. But at the same time, there is some truth in that statement mouthed by Nasiruddin Shah, which obviously means that praise can be the enemy of a performer. And how is it so? Because if we keep on saying only good things about what we hear, and then the speaker or the role player will never know whether he has that ability to go even further or whether he can improve himself or herself even further. So with that in mind, we have to evaluate each and every one today in this meeting. When we evaluate anyone, we only give our perception. So nobody should feel that whatever words have come out from the mouth of an evaluator are the word of the God. It is only my perception, how I perceive this meeting, and how an evaluator would be perceiving the speaker or his speech. That is it. It is entirely up to the speaker or the role player whether to take in those recommendations in a constructive way and become better, or whether to discard them right away. No evaluator in today's meeting, I would request, nobody should be giving the evaluation in a way in which the speaker or the role player feel demotivated to come back to the meeting. This is a very basic thing. I should not even be saying this because I know all the members that I can see on as a role players are well experienced, but still as a general evaluator, it is my responsibility to ensure to let everyone know, especially the new members here who are attending the meeting as a guest, to know that the purpose of the evaluation is only to motivate the speakers and the role players to do even better whenever they get that opportunity to come back on the stage, and not to tell them that we know more than you. So with only that positive and motivating tone, I would request every evaluator to come during the evaluation session. Back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator of the Day. This was really beautifully said. What he said was that it is not what you say, but how you say. And it is more important to keep a very open mindset because it is someone's perspective and it is not the word of the Bible or the holy books. So on that note, let me tell you something more about the aha moment that we are all experiencing in our lives. All right, how many of you agree that we keep on crying over challenges? Hands up. Be truthful, IRSE. We are not human if we do not say that, oh my God, why me? Yeah, definitely. When my husband died, I kept on asking, why me? Why me? That was one of the biggest challenges, I think, for me. So if anyone says that they do not question why me, I feel that that's wrong. But how many of us also question the aha moments in our lives? Today, I was told by a doctor, not today, I'm sorry. In Mexico, I was told by a doctor that if my husband had survived that road accident, he would have been a vegetable. He would have not been able to walk, talk, or do anything that you and me can do. So would I have wanted him in that state? So there are certain things that happen for some reasons. And we have never questioned the good things that happen to us in our life. Today, I'm questioning that if my husband was alive, I would have seen him in that state and I would have been always so unhappy and depressed. But because I know that he's in a better world today, at least I feel so compared to what he would have been, it makes me feel happy. Not that he's not with me, but that he's over the terrible illness or the accident that had happened to him. So how many of us broach or think about aha moments? Till I bought this word for this Toastmasters meeting, truthfully tell me how many of you have thought of aha moments in your lives? Shilpa, good. I have also thought of it because I keep on analyzing things in life. It doesn't come without a reason. If you're unhappy now, 5 years later, you will look back and you will say that maybe that happened for the good. Like I say today, I was not elected as the program quality director of District 41, maybe because I was not ready for it. So there are a lot of things that we need to do. Question the challenges as well as question the aha moments. What are those beautiful moments in our lives which we need to cherish? Let us go forward with our fantastic 4 speeches that we have lined up for you today. Our first speaker. Now, before I come to the first speaker, let me first talk about his evaluator. Now, when I asked his evaluator, and mind you, all DTMs, so I'm not going to keep on repeating DTMs. They're all DTMs. When I asked him, okay, what is your aha moment? So he said, my aha moment, ma'am, is marriage. When I got married, when I tied the knot with Donna, that was my aha moment. And the reason behind that, he said, was that he realized that marriage is not a bed of roses. It is a work of 24 hours a day because it involves so many stakeholders. And when there are so many stakeholders involved, hence one cannot just sit back and relax and expect a happy marriage. You have to make a happy marriage. You have to create a happy marriage. And this is what our evaluator, the first evaluator, DTM Rohan Nag, has said about his aha moment. On that note, let us give him a big round of applause when he comes upon the stage to give us the project evaluation for our first speaker. Over to you, Rohan.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good evening to all. The purpose statements are as follows. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Timer, please note, time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best to the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, DTM Rohan Nag, for that giving us the objective of the speech. Now, before I call upon our wonderful first speaker, Ashutosh Mudra, I asked him, what is your aha moment, Ashutosh? And he said that when he was 5 years old, and he remembers this story, his mother gave him a 5 rupee note and told him to go downstairs. Just below his house, there was a jhalmuri wala. A jhalmuri would be a mixture of, rice which has fried rice with a lot of masalas in it. So that's what I think is the English version. I'm sorry, but you all understand jhalmuri. So please don't, discount me because of that. So jhalmuri, and he went down to the jhalmuri wala to buy a packet of muri. And he was standing around where all other customers were standing around. And he gave his 5 rupees coin to the muri wala and he said, give me 1 packet of muri. And while the muriwala was making, he was exchanging coins with other customers, giving the customer some balance for the from their side and all. So this small little boy was observing everything, and he was a very smart little boy, pretty, smart in understanding body language and everything, even at that age. And when he got his muri packet, he asked this muriwala, okay, you've been giving everybody else some change back. Why you're not giving me back my change? So there were a couple of his building aunties also standing there for the jhalmuri. So it seemed that packet was for 5 rupees. So they told him, you don't worry about that. You won't get back any change. You go back home and we'll speak to your mom on that. And he felt that that was his aha moment, because that was his first lesson in maths. Believe it. That was too much. So over to you, Ashutosh, and I'm looking forward to your speech. All the very best. Go for it.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters of the day, DTM Jennifer. I hope I am clearly audible. Thank you. Just a few clarification before I start. I am not DTM, and all the adjectives which DTM Jennifer used about being smart and observant, you know the reality after knowing the conclusion of this story. All right, so coming back to my speech. I'm so sorry because today I am at a loss of words. I'm at a loss of words because whatever I say is not enough to express my gratitude towards the selfless service and commitment of my army. My army don't care if they are tired. My army do not worry about their tiring body and do not think that their hardened body is sleep deprived. They even don't worry if we do not appreciate what they are doing for us. They don't even worry if we do not understand their emotions and feelings. They still sacrifice everything for us and for our motherland. Yes, they do. And they do it only because my army is the Indian Army. It's their courage and bravery which makes them extraordinary. They have never ever lost any battle. And most importantly, they have never waged a war. They have never ever attacked anyone. They are the fiercest warriors, but at the same time, they believe in the principles of Bhagwan Buddha and practice peace. Yes, they are extraordinary because they are Indian Army. My army is Indian Army. They protect our motherland in the most extreme situations. They control world's highest battlefield, Siachen Glacier, at 5,000 feet. They manage and maintain integrity of our nation in the most harshest situations, Run of Kutch, Thar Desert, the Bay of Bengal. And I'm sure all of us today feel proud and protected because our army is, yes, my friends, it's Indian Army. Good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters and respected guests. How is the Josh?
Hi.
I asked, how is the Josh?
Hi, sir.
Our Josh was also very high, and we were also very exhilarated when I and my family got an opportunity to visit Leh Ladakh immediately after Kargil War. If you do not remember Kargil War of year 1999, this is when we lost our 527 brave hearts. Our army was strategically at a disadvantageous position, but we trounced all the Pakistani infiltrators. We went to a hospital to meet the injured soldiers. And as we were meeting each one of them, we were telling them how much we value their sacrifice and how entire country today is standing behind them. While talking, one of the soldiers, whose both the legs were amputated, replied, "Kab tak?" Till when? Those two words pierced my soul. And my Josh was not high anymore. A long silence prevailed in the room, and then we left. But a question gripped my mind, even after seeing so much. How do other soldiers keep their Josh so high? We stayed in an army camp, and I had an extremely great opportunity of meeting so many brave hearts, talking to them, and every conversation I had with them had an everlasting, remarkable impact on my life. It was amazing, amazing talking to each one of them, but my question was still unanswered. After seeing so much agony, so much pain, how do they keep their Josh so high? I came back to Kolkata with my unanswered question. And no points for guessing. That question was also short-lived, as is my feeling when I see any soldier doing martyrdom for our nation, for us, and speak about that for a couple of days and then forget about it. Now I know the soldier in the hospital was right. Till when? My memory may be short-lived, but our army, my army, stands and protects our border relentlessly, without any break. And my conviction became rock solid when I received a letter from one of the heroes I met while I visited Leh Ladakh, and his words are still echoing in my mind. हम लौट कर आए ना आए, न आस तिरंगे पे आएगी, मातृभूमि के चरणों में चाहे जान हमारी जाएगी. Come what may, our tricolor is going to furl high. For that, even if I need to give my life, I am going to do that. A hero is someone who gives his or her life for something more than oneself. And every soldier of my army, every soldier of Indian Army is my real life hero. In words of Kirti Chakra recipient, Captain R. Subramaniam, which he said before his supreme valor, that if you haven't seen the death, you haven't lived your life. And for the one who stay there to fight will have a special flavor of life which protected will never taste. Yes, I will never be able to taste it. Yes, I will not be able to go to border and fight along with them. But I will take every opportunity. I will make every effort to support them, encourage them, talk about them when and where I can. I may not be able to support them, but I am going to support their family by making my minuscule monetary contribution towards their family by going into bharatkevi.gov.in. I am going to offer my seats to these brave hearts when I am traveling with them in a public transport. I am going to open the doors for them because they are the one who is protecting the door of our nation. I am going to join territorial army and be their second line of defense. In words of famous poet Makhanlal Chaturvedi, मुझे तोड़ लेना बनमाली, उस पथ पर तू देना फेक, मातृभूमि हित शीश चढ़ाने जिस पथ जाए वीर अनेक. I may not be fortunate enough to be laid down on the path for my heroes, but at this moment, all I can say and do is salute them and say my thanks to all my heroes, my army, and the Indian Army. What do you think about our heroes, our army, Toastmaster of the Day, TTM Jennifer?
Thank you so much. I am still having goosebumps. So your speech has truly, truly touched the core inside of me. And I don't have words. I just have tears in my eyes right now. So let's get back to the meeting and the aha moments. So we have our second speaker. And today, before I call our second speaker, I would like to call upon her beautiful evaluator. Her evaluator is not only beautiful in looks, but also in her heart. She's truly an innocent child. And when I asked her what was one of her aha moments, and she said that when she was flying on an aircraft from Chennai to Delhi, she got this middle seat. You know, when you get this middle seat, you feel so uncomfortable because you have someone on your right and someone on your left, and you feel so squashed in. So I could relate to her. And she said that, you know, she started talking to the gentleman on her right who was towards the window and speaking to him and trying to convince him and make him understand that this was her first very flight. And she was so excited and she wanted to see the beauty around from, you know, 35,000 feet above sea level and all that. And she was absolutely going gaga about her first flight and everything when this gentleman, you know, maybe have felt a little bit of pity on her, I don't know, but he exchanged his seat with her. And all through the flight, he kept her totally busy so that she could not see at all out of that window. He told her that he's from the crime branch, and he also showed her his, you know, identity. Then he kept on telling her all sorts of stories about his activities and kept on cheesing her off completely, making her flight so sad, you know, that she couldn't enjoy that window seat at all. Imagine, after getting it, not being able to enjoy it. She truly felt that was an aha moment to relate to all. So let me call upon Shiv Priya Gauri, DTM, to give the project objectives for our speech number 2 today.
Thank you so much, the Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh. It's indeed a pleasure to be the evaluator of a very, very proficient speaker today. The objective of Toastmaster Seema's speech is to identify the primary leadership style or styles and then share it with the larger crowd. Timer, please note that the time allocated for this project is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best, Seema. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so very much, Shiv Priya Gauri, DTM. And our second speaker is none other than the president of this club. And she is also the area director of Q3, which is my area. And I'm so proud to be a part of her area. And let me tell you that the way she is working is no mean feat. She is on top of things, and I find that so very similar to what I normally do. She is everywhere omnipresent and really truly a remarkable person. When I asked her what is her aha moment, she said that some years ago when her daughter was very small, she was trying to make, you know, rotis. The Indian rotis, trying to make them round by with the what do you call it, belan. And she was not succeeding at all to make round rotis. And her daughter came and said, she took, you know, that the pizza, what do you call it, the rolling pin. And she said that, Mom, why are you trying with this rolling pin? It's not going to help you. How will it help you make round rotis? Why don't you take something round and make that roti? And Seema got thinking that this 5 years old or 7 years old kid has really given a message for her. And that message was, do only what's possible and not what is not possible. So she got a lesson from her own daughter, and she felt that was an aha moment for her. So all the very best to you, Seema Ramesh. Please take it on from here. I'm really looking forward to your speech today.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the monsoon times here in Kolkata in circa 1998. I was married for 6 years to a man who was married to his family business. But on that fateful monsoon day, the proprietor husband was unavailable to show off his leadership qualities that he's so well known for. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Being married into a business family was a huge culture shock for me. Most of the conversation that kept happening at home flew over my head. But I am a keen listener, and I always made it a point to listen to my room boys, my staff, my sub-staff of our hotel, which I visited very often. That was hardly 10 minutes away from my home. Now, what happened on that particular day? As usual, my husband was traveling, and I had to take decisions in my own domestic hands. I clearly remember that it was a Saturday. I had around 117 bank officers boarding in my hotel. They had come from various parts of the country in order to attend a conference, which was to be held on Sunday at a location roughly 1.5 hours from my location, my hotel, so to speak. And my 8 decades old hotel was famously located in one of the most famous waterlogging areas of Kolkata. We always expected the moment a few drops of rain fell, the water would be ankle deep on our roads. But that particular day was so very different. That Saturday morning, I started receiving incessant phone calls because my husband was not there at the right time. That always happens to me, I don't know why. The phone calls started coming in, and they had confirmed that the conference, which was to be held on Sunday, was at no cost going to be rescheduled or canceled. Now, my first instinct was I needed to get there to my hotel, no matter what, because I'm a firm believer of seeing is believing in order to assess the situation. So whatever happened that day, the waterlogging, I swam, I walked, I waited literally for that 10 long minutes to reach my hotel. But I'm glad I did, because the moment I walked in, I could see the huge look of relief on the faces of my quintessential quartet. Who are they? My 4 competent managers, whom unfortunately that day did not have a clue on how to handle the situation. So imagine I walked in, and what do I see? My reception area full of water, knee deep, with around 10 to 15 grown-up adult men, pants are overturned, screaming and yelling at my managers. I quickly made my way through them, went into a room, changed into a dry set of clothes, which I carried with me when I came over there. Common sense, which every leader should have. I still remember the pin drop silence when I was introduced as the owner of the estate. Seize the moment. I took the chance in that silence. I encouraged or I ordered my staff to get hot cups of South Indian filter coffee for these gentlemen and start talking. I listened, I understood the situation. I could hear all of them talking at the same time. Madam, how do you think we are going to walk and wade through this water all the way out into the vehicle? How do you expect us to get to the venue at 10 a.m. in the morning? We are going to catch pneumonia. I listened very carefully. I gave them complete reassurance that we will handle the situation. But ladies and gentlemen, at the back of my mind, I had to do something fast. I had to think out of the box. Otherwise, the year's contract that we had signed with this established bank would go into doldrums and the entire onus would be on my head. It was at that moment when a room boy, no MBA, suggested that we need to have some sort of a platform on which these men could walk over and get into their vehicle nice and dry. I stayed back overnight in the hotel, got the carpenters, they are in-house carpenters, plumbers, electricians, everybody, nails, hammers, they did the work. They built a temporary bridge, believe it or not. And the next morning, Sunday morning, the rains didn't stop. Mother Nature was not with us, but the presence of mind of my staff made sure that these gentlemen were well fed with South Indian breakfast, hot breakfast, idli, vada, dosa, sambar, the works. They walked over the platform, got onto the bus without even a drop of water on them, and they made it to the venue on time. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an exhilarating moment for us, for me especially, because in the end, I did not lose that contract. In fact, we still continue having years and years of working relationship with them. That lesson, that day, on that very monsoon day, that fateful day, taught me huge lesson. That a leader, no matter what, had to make sure that the show could go on. So from that day onwards, whatever situation that I was in, come rain or shine or hailstorm or the tsunami, if there was anything that I could do with my vision, with my talent, with my ability, I would make sure that I do it. And over the years, I have learned to encourage excellence without compromising on ethics. And that, I believe, is the essence of true leadership. What do you think, Madam Toastmaster of the Day?
I so agree with you, Toastmaster Seema Ramesh. Thank you so very much for giving us such a wonderful speech. Exhilarating, no doubt about it. And now we come to our third speaker. But before I go to my third speaker, I would like to introduce his evaluator. And our third speaker's evaluator is another DTM and a good friend of mine. I know him for many years. We were colleagues at one time in TCS, and then he ditched me and he went and joined, some iron pal in IBM. But nonetheless, I still like him, like a very good friend. So when I asked him, okay, what is your aha moment? So he told me that one day, many years ago, maybe 10 years or maybe 9 years ago, he had gone to deliver a humorous speech in TCS, that is TMKTC. That is the club that he was a member of, and I was also a member of that club. And so is Satyadeep. And he gave his humorous speech, and throughout that speech, he delivered to the best. And he really thought he had made it connected with the audience, but unfortunately, throughout the speech, the audience just laughed once. And ever since then, when the session was over, his speech was completed, and the team mod said, "Oh, that was a wonderful, humorous speech." People came to know that it was indeed a humorous speech. And since then, our evaluator is still trying to put in humor in his speeches. And I do not know, he did not mention whether he is being successful or not, but I'm sure I, as an audience who has seen him on various occasions since then, feel that he has been quite successful in putting in humor in his speeches. So I'd like to call upon DTM Broti Shankar Ghosh to give us the project objectives for for our third speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, DTM Jennifer Ghosh, for that nice introduction. Well, the third speaker today is delivering his icebreaker for the third time. He is a DTM as well. And for him, perhaps the purpose of this speech is different, but what Toastmaster talks about, the purpose of an icebreaker is to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. The time allotted is 4 to 6 minutes. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, DTM Broti Shankar Ghosh. And now we come to our third speaker. Our third speaker, as you know, is DTM Satyadev Basu. And Satyadev Basu has been like a friend, philosopher, guide, mentor to me all through my life, and vice versa. So I think that he has, when I asked him that, Satyadev, what is one of your aha moments? So he wrote to me and he said, and I said that, make it a little humorous, because I know Satyadev and humor, I know Broti can bring in humor, but Satyadev and humor is quite a challenge. So he said that, Jenny D, I think around 25 years ago, I was giving a professional exam, like a competitive examination. And in the examination room, there were all of them sitting down, and the invigilator was there. And you can imagine, what that room, the tension of that room was like. And people were like all nervous. And when the paper came around, they all started reading the paper, and they found that that was one tough paper. It was so tough that everyone was, like wondering how they are going to give that exam. And all through the exam, while Shotadip was writing, there was somebody who was sitting a little far, but not too far away. And he kept on trying to come closer and closer to Satyadev so that he could peep into his paper. And the invigilator saw that happening, and she said that, what's happening over there? So this boy, this poor boy, he said that, ma'am, do you know, even if I go and sit in, Satyadev's lap, or he didn't say Satyadev because he didn't know Satyadev personally, but he said, if I go and sit in his lap also, I'll never be able to pass this paper. So it was quite hilarious in my opinion. And Shotadip, you are truly improving in your hilarious way of delivery. And I really love this. This is so special to me. And at the end of it, he also had to smile and laugh along with everybody else in that room. So over to you, Satyadev. I'm really looking forward to your speech. This is Satyadev Basu, DTM, with his speech, which Broti has just told us all about. Over to you.
Jenny, the speech title?
The speech title did you give me? I'm sorry, I don't have it. I thought Broti had given it. What's the speech title, Satyadev?
Me, my wedding, and my workstations.
Oh God.
And my workstation.
So that's the reason why he didn't given it to me, because it is a title like Me, My Wedding, and My Workstation. It's so, such a name that it would have anyway made me laugh, because I know what this is all about, Satyadev, and I'm just keeping the suspense for the rest of them. So Me, My Wedding, and My Workstation. Over to you, Satyadev Basu, DTM.
Thank you. Just a quick sound check. Prati, I am audible? Great.
You are audible, Satadip.
Great. Alliance invited for Bengali Kayastha, 5'9", M30, working in a reputed software company in Kolkata. Contact 2466-2004. It was the month of February 2005, 15 years back, when one fine morning, my father handed me a piece of paper with the aforesaid words written on it. With a very calm voice, he said, "We are going to give this as an advertisement in the newspaper for your marriage." Eh? I was spellbound for about 3-4 seconds, and then I exclaimed, "What?" Bang came the same calm reply. Now I knew that my family members were looking for a girl for me, and they treated my marriage as a project, whereby my father was the group leader or group manager, my aunt was the project manager, and my elder sister, you guessed right, she was the project leader. But I never thought that they are going to take this step. I was extremely scared of ads in the newspaper, because by then one of my friends had given an ad for his marriage and received over 500 responses. I did not want my letterbox to turn into a ballot box. So when my elders came up with a project plan of assigning a lifelong cost center to my otherwise happy-go-lucky existence, I did put my foot down, vehemently protested to say that no man on earth had been happy ever since he got married. But had to discard my logical thinking and had to listen to what my elders said. So went ahead to meet Paromita. It was not a tough decision to take, but I did put a displeased look on my face before saying yes to my family members. Eventually, in April 2006, Paromita and I went live into a joint venture project called Marriage. And I became a complete yet unfinished man, because I was being told that a man is incomplete without marriage, and after marriage, he is finished, just like oil. So, my friends, let me take you back to the mid-70s, when I was born in Burnpur in Asansol, where my father used to work in Indian Iron and Steel Company Limited. I lost my mother at the age of 6, and my father took a transfer to Kolkata, and we landed up at our ancestral house. I did my schooling from South Point School, and my road to success in school was always under construction. Whenever I tried to find the key, someone changed the lock. I had myriad dreams in my childhood, and I was extremely passionate about books, music, movies, cricket, football, and many other things, and kept on changing my future plans. I took part in quizzes, debates, in plays and dramas, both in school as well as in the locality, and wanted to be an actor. The proposal was summarily rejected by my father. I wanted to be a doctor, but the duo of chemistry and biology prevented me. I never understood the mystery of chemistry, never got more than 40 out of 100 in biology. I had great passion for music, wanted to be a music director like R.D. Burman. But I soon discovered I could play only two instruments, the radio and the tape recorder. I even tried to see myself as Sunil Gavaskar or Marco van Basten, ended up warming the benches in the sidelines. So back to books. I did my graduation in commerce, and as a qualified cost accountant joined CESC, Calcutta Electric Supply Corporation, I was elated with my first job, but soon found sarcastic comments from my neighborhood because in the year 2000, 2001, there were long power cuts and my neighbors would say, hey, what do you do in office? Do you really go there and work? I tried to explain to them that I was in the finance department, nowhere related to power generation, but continued to be a victim of their wrath. Finally, in 2004, I landed up in TCS and things did change after that. I got married and in 2007, my little bundle of joy, my son was born. I have spent 16 years in TCS. In this sedentary environment, became horizontally challenged. You can see that, right? Horizontally challenged. Making Raymonds rich. One of the biggest milestones that I achieved in TCS was joining the TCS Moitri Kolkata Toastmasters Club back in 2008. And I have learned a lot in communication, listening, and leadership skills. Toastmasters have been imbibed within me. If you are interested to know more about my Toastmaster journey, I will explain in my next speech. But till then, let me sign off my complete yet unfinished life with the basic philosophy. Work hard, trust God, play fair, and enjoy life. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Shwetadeep. My God, you are becoming quite a champion in humor, I must say. That was one fantastic speech. Thank you very much. Let us move on. I'm sure you're waiting for this last speech. And before I call upon our speaker, I would like to tell you something about his evaluator. So our evaluator, when I asked her, all right, Panna Rashmi Ray, what is your aha moment? She gave to me something which took me back in time because I could sort of visualize her as a tomboy after what she told me. And all through my youth, I was absolutely a tomboy. So she said that in her house, while she was growing up in Bangalore, her parents had timings for playing, timings to read, timings to sleep, timings for studies, and all sorts of timings for her. So she, used to feel really sad because her friend who was her neighbor had some beautiful books. And her friend said that, see, Panna, I'm not giving you those books to take home for sure. Either you come to my house and read them, or I cannot give them to you. So now Panna was wondering what to do to go and read those books. So during the afternoons, she would sneak around the house to the balcony and she would climb down and jump into her neighbor's house. Imagine, jump across to her neighbor's house and go to her friend's house, into her bedroom, and read and read and read all the beautiful books that she had with her. And what was more aha for her was that her mom never came to know about this plan of Panna's, because during that time, her mom used to take a siesta. And she never ever came to know that Panna was going behind and sneaking out, rather going through the main door. So for her, Panna says that this was a real aha moment for me when I was a kid, because I got to read so much of my friends' wonderful books without my mom coming to know that I had, slipped out of the house. So let me call upon Panna Rashmi Ray to give the objectives for Oyon's project. Thank you. And over to you, Panna.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer Ghosh. Well, friends, today the purpose of my speaker's speech is to deliver a speech on any topic and receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any other style the member chooses. Timer, please note the speech timing is for 5 to 7 minutes. With a feeling of exhilaration of hearing an awesome speech, I wish the speaker the very best. I will return to the virtual podium to give my evaluation report when asked to do so by the general evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Panna Rashmi. I would like to first tell you about the fourth speaker. Now, he is also a great friend, a mentor, or I would say a philosopher for me. And more importantly, he is very close to my heart. I really love him like a younger brother or a son for that matter. Now, this gentleman happens to be a man of words, in my opinion. He has the flair which God has given him. He is very God gifted. And when I asked him, okay, Oyun, DTM Oyun Pal, thrice over, what is your aha moment? He said that, you know, he was a bit distracted organizing a session for the UK High Commission in which the winner of the humorous speech contest of IBM suddenly stood up and started thanking Oyun about, it was an acceptance speech, and thanking Oyun. And because Oyun was so distracted at the end of the speech, he thought that, you know, maybe she's thanking me for the speech for whatever reasons, I don't know. Though he felt that even though he had not mentored her, so it amused him that it could be like a Doracharya and Iklavya type of a moment. So he replied to her and he said, you are most welcome, and everything is fine. Your speech was great and all that. And then later on, he came to know that actually she was not referring to him, Oyun. She was referring to another Oyun Chatterjee, most probably, I'm not sure, but this Oyun was his namesake, and she was actually thanking that Oyun for all the help and mentoring and everything. And he says it doesn't matter, it was an aha moment, because right now both of them are tied in the blissful knot of marriage. So for him, that is a very aha moment. So on that note, I would like to call upon the speaker, because this speaker is going to keep us entertained for the next 5 to 7 minutes, to give his speech to us. Over to you, Oyun. Would you like to say anything before the
Yes,
speech?
I would like to ask for the topic of the speech.
All right.
Because I'm going to deliver it impromptu.
Perfect. So, Oyun, your topic today is the myth of beauty. The myth of beauty. Oyun Pal, DTM, thrice over.
The best quote I've heard about beauty is that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But what really is beauty? Is it to be characterized by your companion, as in a beast? Is it characterized by the fact that you have to work on it? For example, by letting other elements into your body, like say a yeast that will help you make bread, that will help you gather a feast. I have had my own sense of my trials and tribulations about what is beautiful. And one of the best examples that I have that will help me determine and tell you today about what I feel is beautiful happened in the mesmerizing month of May in the city of Manila. The year was 1994, and the reason of the celebration of the season was a beauty pageant, Miss Universe, being held in Manila, Philippines. And I still remember I was in class 8 and I was in my tuition and it was getting late. And I was always attracted to beauty pageants, especially contests like Miss Universe, where at the end, they're all put into glass doors. I mean, they're put into boxes with revolving doors, and they all have to answer the same question. And it's how they answer that determines the final winner. And there, that particular year, something very unexpected had happened in the Miss India pageant. A slim, tender 18-year-old girl, Shushmita Sen, had become Miss India, defeating Aishwarya Rai, that famous model. In fact, when Aishwarya had entered the contest, a lot of contestants had taken their names off. I had read a lot of not so flattering remarks about Shushmita Sen. In the words of Shobha De, oh, she looked like a steak, a broomstick. I don't know about Shobha, but I loved the fact that there was a born beauty who had become Miss India. And just the previous year, we had Madhu Sapre, Are Bapre, that hot and sizzling girl, reached the final and come up as the second runner-up, the best we have done in the Miss Universe pageant. So I had my doubts about whether this girl is going to do anything. But you know what? Shushmita Sen became the first contestant to make it into the top 10. And I was absolutely bowled over by her simplicity, her smile. There was absolutely nothing artificial about it. As the contest progressed, I realized that she is the perfect example of flaws that heighten your beauty. But what made it truly beautiful is when in the last round, she, along with the other two contestants, one being from Colombia, the one contest where there have been numerous winners in the past, was asked, what to you is the essence of being a woman? And without even a moment's hesitation, the bombshell promptly answered, to me, the essence of a woman is a mother. It is a woman, it is a mother who teaches us what loving, caring, and sharing is all about. And that, to me, is the essence of being a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that history was created that day as Shushmita Sen became the first Miss Universe and made us all proud. But over the years, Shushmita Sen, as per me, has turned out to be a true amalgamation of beauty. Because for me, beauty is not what you look like, but the way you look at the world outside. What Shushmita Sen said that day, she has proved time and again, over and over again. In her previous round, in the semi-finale, she was like, if you had an opportunity of doing something for children, what would you do? And she said, I would like to do something for children. And it doesn't matter. It does not have to be a privileged or an underprivileged children. For me, spending time with them is going to be enough. And at the age of 22 and a half, while she was at the peak of the career, having just had two back-to-back hits and having won each and every award, from the Filmfare Award to the Screen Actors Guild Award to the Zee Cine Awards for Best Supporting Actress, she decided to take a break and adopt a girl child going through a terrible, terrible process. It doesn't matter where Shushmita Sen went for cosmetic surgery. It doesn't matter where Shushmita Sen took a break. It doesn't matter that Shushmita Sen decided to move away from a nepotism-inspired industry to be with herself in Dubai and find her peace. It doesn't matter that Shushmita Sen battled a life-threatening disease. For me, what matters is the way she carried smiling throughout her life. Be it on stages where she was dazzling, or be it as a mother in those small moments of togetherness. This year, Shushmita Sen came back to the screen with Arya, a TV show that has proved that her beauty, just like always, is in the way she speaks, in the way she looks, in the way she talks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is to me true beauty. One that is found inside you and one that can come out in the brightest of manner and overshadow everyone else. Just today, I was reading a tweet by one of her co-actors in that show. And she said, thank you, Shushmita Sen, for spreading your beauty all around us, for spreading your aura, for spreading your charm, for ensuring none of us actors come to any harm, for lending us your arm and ensuring we are one cohesive unit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Shushmita Sen. For me, the perfect example of beauty, with brains, with determination, with dedication, with sincerity. Beauty is what beauty does. It brings a smile to your face. It makes you want to make the world a beautiful place. It makes you want to win that race, just like a first speaker, to win it for your country, just like the second speaker, so that you can lead from the front without bowing down to the societal pressures and lead like a true leader in the way you want, just like the third speaker, that which does not and should not be guided by what your family expects from you, but beauty should come from within. Beauty is that light that is in our heart. Beauty is what we do with our bodies, with our life, with our work, like true art. Beauty is that which will touch your heart. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a Shushmita Sen in all of us. All you have to do is believe and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. And may that Shushmita Sen emerge. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Oyan Pal. Impromptu speaking is, I think, your forte, because you are able to take any topic to any level of excellence. So I would just like to say, I don't want to say more because otherwise Satyajit will say that I have that halo effect over Aryan and I'm praising him to the sky and he doesn't deserve it. I'm sorry, Satyajit, but this was one hell of a speech, impromptu and beautifully taken. And that just goes to show that, you know, you read a lot, you know a lot, and that is the reason why you're able to talk on any subject in the most beautiful way. So before I would like to just now call upon our general evaluator, because he's been waiting and hearing. And though we say that in Toastmasters, you know, listening is a great skill that we need to develop, I don't want to bore him any further. I'd like to call him upon the stage to take our general evaluation section forward. Over to you, DTM Sandeep Raturi.
Thank you very much, Janidi. It has been a
Have we lost Sandeep?
Yeah, I think we lost Sandeep.
Maybe. He's back. Sandeep, we lost you for a moment. You can start again.
Oh, sorry. So all I'm saying that it has been a fantastic meeting so far, and I think all of us have enjoyed thoroughly all the three speeches. All the speeches were very different from each other, and yet every speech was marvelous in its own right. And I'm sure that all the evaluators have a very difficult task in their hand to evaluate these kind of gems. And so before I go straight away to the evaluation of the speeches, a very short note to all the evaluators, I would request you to please follow the CRC approach and to ensure that the speaker feels motivated after listening to your evaluation. With that in mind, we'll go to the first evaluation. We had three speeches today. The first speaker of the day was Toastmaster Ashutosh Mundra. I would request his evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Rohan Nag, to please come and give the evaluation. Rohan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is said that gratitude is the most exquisite form of courtesy. Good evening, General Evaluator, Sir, fellow Toastmasters, and Toastmaster Ashutosh, who expressed his gratitude towards the real heroes of India, the Indian Army. Ashutosh, let me share a few things that I thought you did really well. First, the emotions. It is said that some of the best things in the world cannot be seen or touched, can only be felt, and those are emotions. The emotions that you had in your speech, each and every word was infused with emotion, and I truly felt and I understood that you felt each and every word that you said, and that connected with me. Really well done, and I appreciate the love and the respect you have for the Indian Army and soldiers of the Indian Army. Second was, of course, the translations. We use translations to bring in an X factor, the oomph factor, as it is said in our speeches, because certain things sound good in the vernacular. But as Toastmaster says, you need to translate it to English. And you did that in each and every instant. Even when you said Kab Tak, or when you shared a part of the letter which the soldiers sent you, when you recited a poem, you translated each and every word as it is meant to be done. I appreciate the effort you've done, put in behind this, and I appreciate the fact that you respect this rule of Toastmasters International. And last but not the least was the story. The fact that you went to Leh Ladakh, you interacted with those heroes, you stayed with them. I have been fortunate to experience a similar kind of a journey with a few soldiers in North Sikkim. So when you shared this story, I went back to my experience, and that got me nostalgic. The fact that you shared this story, it made your speech that much more relatable for me, and it made your speech unique. But Ashutosh, as a soldier says, the only way is the way forward. So here are certain points for your consideration to take this speech a little further. First was the call to action. So Ashutosh, you said that you would support them, encourage them, talk to them, make contributions. So you could have also said that we, as your audience member, you could have told us to do the same thing. That would have been a call to action for us. You should have told us that whenever you see them, respect them. You should give them their chair. Give them a salute. Say a thank you to them. That would have been a key takeaway for me as your audience member. So a call to action could have been added. Second was the struggles. Indian Army lost 527 soldiers. You could have actually shared a bit more about the struggles. You could have named Vikram Batra, Manoj Pandey, Jagdish Acharya, Anuj Nair. I can go on. And that would have actually added more value to the struggle aspect of your speech. And of course, audience interaction. In a virtual platform, having questions, open-ended questions for an audience and expecting a reply on the spot can be challenging, can be avoided. Having said that, this speech was powerful and emotional. Your story was absolutely spot on. Your translations, very well done. Just take care of having a call to action, and of course, try and avoid audience interaction. And I'm sure this speech can become a wonderful eulogy to our heroes. All the very best.
Thank you very much. What a fantastic piece of evaluation, a very insightful and very logical sort of an evaluation. And I'm sure our speaker, Ashutosh here, would take this pulse of wisdom with him and would like to improvise his speeches even better whenever he gets that opportunity to come back on the stage. I would like to give full marks to the evaluator here for sticking to that CRC and a motivating tone throughout, and he has given very specific input to the speaker over here, which even if he has to deliver the same speech once again, I'm sure that if he could employ those specific inputs, like how he said that in an online medium, when you are asking rhetorical question to the audience, it becomes a bit tricky because somebody is answering, somebody is not. We don't know whether we have to switch on our. So you have to keep it to minimum or to actually avoid it. Don't make it very interactive because in a 5 to 7 minute speech, when you have to say so much, it becomes difficult to also interact the audience. So that was a very, very good input that was given by our Rohan Nag over here, right? So if I have to say a few things more about the speech of Ashutosh here, the fantastic speech. I think it was a tribute to the valor and sacrifice of Indian Army. I think no one here who's sitting here, he did not have that feeling for Indian Army. Everyone feels indebted to what Army does for us, and we know that we are sitting here peacefully only because our soldiers are there on the border. So that was a fantastic speech, and I could see the passion in your eyes, and you are a kind of person who really feels a lot for the Army. And I'm very active in social media. I keep on seeing all those debates in which people say something negative about Army, and I can see it I can imagine that you would be a very formidable debater there, from the sides of Indian Army, and probably you could completely destroy any sort of argument against Indian Army. So that is there. But if I have to give you some sort of a recommendation from my side, at the cost of sounding a bit more, I would say, over scrupulous or pedantic, I would say, to me, is that this speech breaks little new ground. So that was something which was very obvious. All of us have the same feeling for the Army. So it was more like a school essay. So everything that you said is quite obvious, and everybody knows about it. So as the evaluator said, a story, somehow maybe a story from Kargil War, if you could have brought a personal angle to it, an anecdote, something of that sort, it could have elevated the standard of the speech to where probably you want to take it next time. So that is my only suggestion. I'm saying that instead of only talking in support of Indian Army, which all of us do from our heart, I would say that you could have started with the story. Maybe, as you said, the story of Vikram Batra, or you could have said, as we are speaking very confidently or very nicely over this online medium, do you know that there is a soldier standing there whose parents are waiting for him from the last 7 months, who's not getting a leave because he's in the border, something of that sort. Maybe to add a little bit more drama or to connect us well to that speech. So that is my only recommendation to you, that in addition to saying what you have already said, probably a little more anecdote of any Army personnel would have added more weight to the speech that you wanted to give. But that, having said that, fantastic speech, and I also like the fact that you used that Makhanlal Chaturvedi line from that book, "Mujhe tod dena manmali, us pad par tum dena fake, matri bhumi par sheet chadhane, jis par jaye veer." And that's a small recommendation here. When you started this speech from here, मुझे तोड़ देना वन माली. So probably one thing is, of course, you could have translated it, but even otherwise, everybody I think here could understand Hindi. But to give a context that who is he, who is here, who is talking? This is the words of a flower. So you could have said this is the flower says that मुझे तू तोड़ देना वन माली. The flower has so many options what he can do in his life, but the poet says that he wanted to be there in the foot of the soldiers who lay their life for the country. So these are some little things which you could have incorporated in your speech. But otherwise, overall, very good to very good speech, and I could see the passion in your eyes for Indian Army, and I really feel sorry that you are yourself not in Indian Army at this point of time. Thank you very much. With that, we go to the second speaker of the day, and the second speech was delivered by Toastmaster Seema Ramesh, and I would now request distinguished Toastmaster Shivpriya Gauri to come and evaluate her speech.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. A very good evening to everyone once again, and especially Toastmaster Seema. What do you do when you're facing a crisis? What do you do when the universe tells you that it can't be done anymore? What do you do when every aspect in your life goes against what you really want to do? You as a leader just have one reason to move on. That is that the show must go on. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Seema, for giving us this beautiful message. And I love the way that how you used your personal experience to share this message. You started with a great context setting of what happened and when it happened. It all started on monsoon times in 1998, when you had to face a very difficult situation, and you as an individual had to take a charge of something which wasn't yours. It was your spouse's. Yet you had to take this challenge and ensure that the delivery was done. I love the way that you were adding a lot of special characters, and you were adding a lot of information about the context. A description about who exactly your clients were, a description about how bad the situation was, a description about why this task was very important. And somewhere it helps the audience to imagine the importance and significance of each and every element in your speech. I like the fact that you use a personal story that gives a lot of conviction. And somewhere I felt that your emotions during your speech was also relating to what the incident was all about. It made me feel that you as a speaker was actually completely aware of the emotional roller coaster which was there during that situation. And I also like the fact that your choice of words were extremely a pleasure to listen to. Your vocal variety, your choice of words, the terminologies which you use were absolute delight, and it made me want to listen to you more and more. And I personally did not want your speech to end. A good speech can be improved into a greater speech. And I have a couple of recommendations, and if you feel that they are suitable to your style of delivery, I would request you to incorporate them. Number one, the speech objective was about leadership style. You focused on all the wives of elements of the speech, which is who, what, when. Somewhere the how element of how did you overcome your challenge, that was not delivered properly, or I could not get that sense of how you did it. Maybe you could have used how you use different leadership styles with different stakeholders to get the deal done, could have been a better addition. Secondly, somewhere I felt that when there was a flow, there were these little bit of remarks such as, I had to know because I need to see to believe, or I need to seize the day. These were like cardamom in a biryani, of Bengali biryani. They are definitely effective, but if you do it, or if you just bring them randomly, then somewhere you don't allow the audience to enjoy the delicacy of the dish. So use these statements carefully so that they are much more effective. Overall, I felt that the speech had great language, it had great content, and it has a greater message. I'm looking forward to listening to more speeches from you. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Shivpriya, for this fantastic and very detailed, comprehensive, and insightful evaluation. I know that whenever somebody delivers a fantastic speech, it becomes really difficult for an evaluator to give certain tips to that sort of a speaker, and I can understand your predicament here. But even then, you could manage to give very specific evaluation to the speaker over here. To talk about Seema's speech, I really don't have much to recommend over here. But you see the way you started, it was the best of time, it was the worst of time. These are the Charles Dickens famous lines from A Tale of Two Cities. So you had my curiosity from the very beginning that you are starting, with something like that. And then immediately when you started talking about your own work, because you are into hospitality business in which I also work, so you had my attention also. So I really liked, and I also face these kind of challenges. So personally, I could say that I could relate very well to the kind of message that you are delivering. And when you're talking about the leadership skills, it is not only that only you get leadership only when you are in army or you're in politics. Even when you are in a normal corporate job, you have to show that sort of a leadership. And that is the message that came across very nicely from your speech. That even with whatever position you're holding in that hotel, you showed that there was a leadership, there was a leader in you. And I like the way you are also, I would say I have listened to you before as well, but I was really very happy to see that you are doing a little extra this time in terms of how you were modulating your voice. When a South Indian was saying, how do you think we are going to wait to this water? And you also try to, I would say, emulate their accent, which is really commendable, what you did over there. So all these things are something which, whenever you add that sort of a drama in your speech, it adds credibility to you as a speaker, and that is exactly happened with you also. So overall, I think fantastic speech. There was a very good premise on which you made a conclusion. So you told us that this is what you did and this is what you achieved. And all those things, we all know that South Indians are mad about filter coffee. So you also use that thing, idli, dosa, and all those things, being someone from the hospitality. So everything was there in your speech. And if I really have to push and have to give a recommendation, I only would say that you need to smile a bit more than you usually do, because smile can make a lot of difference to the speaker's credibility also. I'm saying that, especially at the time when you've made your point, you've concluded, I think that is the time when you have to have that smile on your face. Otherwise, to audience, it feels that you are a bit nervous about what you're saying. So that is the only, I would say, recommendation from your side. But otherwise, a fantastic speech without much drama, but with right sort of a drama, you managed to put your point across. Kudos to you, and a fantastic evaluation by Silvia also. With that, we go to the third speaker of the day. Sorry, the third speaker of the day, who was none other than distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep Basu. And I would now request another DTM distinguished Toastmaster Prati Ghosh to please come and evaluate his speech.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator Sandeep Raturi, Toastmasters, guests, and Satyadeep. Satyadeep, besides the aha moment that Jennifer Dee just spoke about before my evaluation, there are two other aha moments I like to speak about. One was when I finally understood the mystery of the coin in Sholay. And second was when I watched the movie Zindagi Nahi Milega Dobara. Now, there are certain things in life which you do over and over and over and over again, and yet you cannot just miss the fun of it. This speech of yours is not the first time I'm hearing to it. I've heard it, I've seen it, in some cases I've discussed about it, but every time I hear it over again, it brings something new. Today, we started with that DTMQ confidence of you, which allowed you to start with the actual message that was to be put on the newspaper, start with a bang. And then the whole speech was studded with humor. At the end of the speech, I'm sure Jenny Dee was laughing and revisiting her idea about your content of humor in your speech. Whether you're being horizontally challenged or adding a permanent cost center to your going into a joint venture with a cost center, or your letterbox turning into a ballot box, it was so many throughout the speech. And then your fluent, flowing, flawless style of delivery of the speech, it was like an evening breeze in a summer. And then, even after that, you manage to let us speak at the philosophy of your life. Work hard, trust God, have fun. It was as if hearing to some religious chants at the end of the evening breeze. But Satyadeep, we are in Toastmasters to improve just a little bit more. So here are some of the ways that I thought you could do. I find there were some words in your speech which was little specific to audience. For example, a group leader or a project leader is so very specific to IT. You may want to revisit them. You had quite vivid body languages, but in some cases, maybe you can try a little different. For example, your road to success being under construction can change from this to road to success being under construction. Or I wanted to become a cricketer and a footballer. So certain revisit to the body languages. But most importantly, I feel this speech is missing a large part of your life from 2008 to 2020. That being added to the speech, but with all the other things that you already have, your confidence, your humor, I believe we can easily say the rest of your speech would be the best of you. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you very much. That is a fantastic evaluation once again, and I'm thankful that you have already given him certain specific inputs, because I was wondering what is it that I'm going to tell Satyadeep, because he's given such a fantastic speech over here. You know, of all the kind of speeches that we deliver, especially in online medium, I think humorous speeches are the most difficult to deliver, because when you are delivering a humorous speech in front of an audience, it is quite easy to make them laugh, because laughter is contagious. If one person, especially someone like Jenny, is laughing, then even if you don't want to laugh, you will start laughing. So that is something that gives energy to the speaker, and then you draw that energy from it, and you become even better after all. But when you are speaking online, you are not even looking at the eyes. You don't even know. You're not even sure whether they are dozing off or whether they are still listening to you, because the videos are off for so many speakers, for so many audience members over here. But to keep that energy level high till the very end is an act of amazement. I'm really impressed the way Satyadeep delivered that speech right from the very beginning till the very end. I think there were so many things on which we could laugh at, and I'm sure that Jenny's neighbors must be wondering what has happened there. The way she was laughing, that was fantastic. I like the way you put in so many metaphors, similes, personification. All those things came over here, right? Project leader, project this, and your sedentary lifestyle in TCS make you horizontally challenged, and all those things. I think is very intellectual sort of a script. And Satyadeep, whatever I know of you, I think you are the kind of person that even when you're not delivering a prepared speech, you speak with precision and with thoughtful sort of words. You know, whenever we're speaking to you, we know what to talk to. So with a prepared speech, I could see that the kind of vocabulary that you use in your speech was fantastic. This is the kind of speech that even when you're reading the speech, you will laugh, because it is very intellectually humorous. So it was fantastic. Overall, I think there were so many things I've noted so many, but I think most of the points have already been. I also like the fact that you started with alliance, invited, and not with a very simple sort of a thing that I'm going to tell you about my life story and this. So when you said alliance, invited, we already know where you're going at. So if I have to be really pedantic, or we have to find a needle in a haystack, maybe there was an opportunity at one or two go where you could have used dialogue instead of saying that my father responded with a very calm voice, same thing. Instead of maybe to add more drama, maybe to add more humor into it, you could do something of that sort in that speech, because this speech is hilarious from beginning to end. And if you do some sort of a role play or drama here, maybe something about your wife, we didn't get to hear much, like how's your married life going on. I'm sure that you are as tense as any other married man are, but probably you could have told us a little bit of things about your married life also. That could have added something into it. But overall, I think fantastic, hilarious, humorous. I won't agree with Jenny D here when she said that you do not have a funny bone in you. You definitely have a funny bone. Please, I really look forward to listening to more humorous speeches from you. Maybe in a humorous speech contest, we'll listen to Satyadeep Da over here. Thank you. Fantastic evaluation and fantastic speech. Now with that, we go to the fourth speaker of the day. Our club road director, Ayan Pal over here, and his speech is going to be evaluated by Toastmasters Panna Ray. So may I request Panna Ray to please come and give the evaluation of Ayan Pal.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Distinguished Toastmaster Ayan Pal, you are indeed beautiful. And today I saw the emergence of Shushmita Sen within you. So what did I specifically like in your speech? First, your ability to create excitement by increasing the pitch in your voice. That was beautifully done, and I got carried away by your speech. Kudos to you on that. Secondly, your ability to remember anecdotes perfectly and to incorporate it in your speech. I wonder how you do that so brilliantly. Lovely, very well done, DTM Ion. And the third thing is the way you wax poetry. Oh my God, that is a special skill that you have, and that is so brilliantly done. East and feast, charm and arm, and in an impromptu speech. Wow. This being an impromptu speech, you could carry it for the full 7 minutes. And it was so brilliantly done that nobody would know that it was an impromptu speech. But still, I have a few recommendations for you. First, the topic was myth of beauty. And I was looking forward to some examples from your personal life. Maybe someone who is brilliant, but not beautiful. And how you find this intelligence beautiful. That would have given the personal touch. And I would be able to connect better with you. Secondly, in my opinion, the topic of beauty being a myth was not explored fully. You straight away took the example of Shushmita Sen, and for 80% of the speech, you spoke about Shushmita Sen. I was looking for some more examples of beauty and the myths connected to it. Thirdly, you concluded well, but I felt your ending about looking at the mirror and feeling beautiful and letting the Shushmita Sen emerge from within you could have been more emphatic. Then that would have been a carry away message. That would have made me look longer into the mirror and look for the person who is beautiful in different ways. So overall, distinguished Toastmaster Ian Paul, an exhilarating experience listening to you. Your speech had poetry. You had lovely excitement in your speech, and you had innumerable details that you incorporated. We'll look forward to some personal connection next time, some explanation of the topic a bit further, and more emphatic closer. And I'm sure DTM Ian Paul, you will have a larger fan following henceforth. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters Panna Ray. If somebody asked me what was better today, whether it was the speeches or whether it was the evaluation, I think it is going to be very difficult for me to answer it, because all the evaluations were as good as were the speeches today. And Panna Ray, you also hit the nail on the head when you talked about the evaluation of Ian Paul. Especially when we have a speaker like Ian Paul and delivering a speech, we sometimes get under the aura of a speaker of his caliber. And then if I had been an evaluator, I don't think I would have said so many things about Ian Paul's speech here. But I think fantastic evaluation, very specific input to Ian. And I'm sure that even Ian would be able to make his speech even better whenever he gets to speak on a speech like this. Now about Ian. Ian, the other day I was reading a book by Phil M. Jones, and there was a very nice quotation in that book which says that the worst time of thinking about anything is the moment of saying it, right? So means anything that you say, if you have already thought about it and then you say something about it, then it becomes wonderful. But when we are talking about impromptu speeches, we do not have that liberty. If somebody tells me today that Ian has cheated and he was already aware about the topic that he is going to get, even then it was a fantastic speech. It was a speech which was better than the prepared speeches that I have ever delivered in my life. So I think that speech was fantastic. It had everything. And immediately it was as if Ian Paul was waiting for that topic, and the moment he was told about the myth of the beauty, and that as if the soul of Shushmita Sen has entered into him, and he was in a typical fanboy moment, he went on for 5 to 6 minutes talking about Shushmita Sen and how she is so better than anyone else in the industry. But they were very, I would say, analogy was fantastic. To think about something like that and immediately connect with the topic is I think is an art in himself. And Ian has that uncanny capability of catching those phrases out of thin air. When he was saying about yeast and about the feast, and when he's talking about Madhusri, Sapre and Bapre and all those things, immediately he can think about those kind of things, and he's incorporating those things in his speeches, and which is making his speech even more meaningful, and it is also adding humor into it. I think that is you certainly proved once again that you are a wizard with the word, and you have a very high reputation when it comes to your skills as a speaker. But even if our expectations were sky high, I think you were able to surpass those expectations also today. So that is, I think, kudos to you. But at the same time, I would also agree with the evaluator here when he says that it went on too much about Susmita Sen. It was like a fanboy moment for Ayan Pal when he was, talking only about Susmita Sen. Although the points that you made were very, very specific, were very relevant to the topic, but still, I would also feel that probably a little more of it could have been, because at the end of the day, Susmita Sen is also very beautiful. You can't say that she is not beautiful, right? So when you're talking about the myth of beauty, you can't say that Susmita Sen was not beautiful and she won the contest. Probably some other example could have been given in which the person is not beautiful in the conventional sense. And even then, like say Mother Teresa or something of that sort. So probably it could have gelled more. So maybe one more example, not in such details, could have added a little more. But otherwise, as I said, your ability to find those phrases out of thin air and to say it and to make it meaningful and relevant to the topic at hand, I think fantastic. I really wish that the impromptu speech championship should have been for 5 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes. I don't think you would have any worthy opponent. We would have any worthy opponent for Ayan Pal, and he would have won the contest hands down again and again. Thank you very much, Ayan Pal, and thank you very much, the evaluator over here, to give such kind of specific inputs about his speech. And I think with that, I would say that all the speeches that we heard today were fantastic. All speeches were different from each other. Something was about an ode or a tribute to the army. There was a speech about leadership skill. There was a speech about there was an icebreaker which was extremely humorous, and then obviously there was a speech about Susmita Sen. I think Susmita Sen would have been proud if he had listened to a speech like that. But anyway, overall, fantastic speeches, and I'm more happy with the kind of evaluation that we found today, because evaluation at the end of it is the reason why Toastmasters program is so successful all over the world. Because speeches we can hear here and there in YouTube everywhere, but the evaluation that we get in a Toastmasters meeting is something that we can take back home. And it is not necessary for us to learn something from the evaluation of our own speeches. We can learn from the evaluation that has been given to other speakers. So there is so much that I could learn from the evaluation of, say, Satyadeep speech, or the evaluation of, say, Ayan's speech. And all these things we can incorporate in our own speeches whenever we get that opportunity to speak in front of other people. So I think fantastic thing. Some of the other things, of course, I need to go to evaluate the other aspects of the meeting. And I would like to now request the R counter of the day to tell us about how well we did in terms of our R's and R's. So please help me welcome the R counter of the day, Toastmaster Harsh Gupta.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So I'll be sharing the R counter log. As you can see over here on my screen, there are a few R's and ums and overused words which were there. Since the Toastmaster of the day, Jennifer ma'am, and you as General Evaluator were speaking the most, so there were multiple filler words and overused words. And there were a few repeats, like Jenny ma'am used like and you used the words like is and sort of is. Apart from that, Toastmaster Avridyuti, he used the filler words multiple times, and his repeats were like I will again and again. Most of the Toastmasters, Toastmaster Seema ji, distinguished Toastmaster Satyadeep, DTM Ayan, DTM Rohan, they were flawless in their evaluations and speeches respectively. Toastmaster Ashutosh had a few filler words, and he did not use any overused words. He had a few long pauses, and he did not repeat any word whatsoever. The evaluators, they had a few filler words and overused words, and apart from that, the speech went amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive evaluation. In any day, it is better to see multiple in front of my name rather than seeing 120 hours. So with that, we go to the grammarian of the day to please come and evaluate the grammar of all the speakers and role players today. Toastmaster Anurag Jain.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So the word of the day was used 6 times. Once by Toastmaster Avriduti, once by Toastmaster Ashutosh, once by Toastmaster Seema, once by distinguished Toastmaster Jennifer, and twice by Toastmaster Panna. Now there were a lot of quotes that were used throughout the meeting. For example, the worst time of saying anything is when you are thinking about it. The only way is the way forward. Needle in a haystack. Beauty is what beauty does, not what you say, but how you say it. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Then some of the good phrases that were used were uncanny ability, bowled over by her simplicity, studded with humor, courageous and bravery that makes them extraordinary, victim to their rant, joint venture project called marriage, letterbox turned into a ballot box, incessant phone calls, proprietorship husband, east and feast, charm and arm. Now the toughest was to find the not so good usage of English language, but still I tried to find some. One is the fried rice could be used as puffed rice for moody in English. The second is my army don't care could be used as my army doesn't care. Most harshest is most harsh. Most harsh is already a superlative, so harshest is not a word. Then you as a speaker was completely could be used as you as a speaker were completely. So that's it from my side. Thank you and over to you, General Evaluator.
Sandeep, you're on mute.
Thank you very much for this.
We can't hear you.
There was a static and then we lost you.
Yeah.
Take Master Iron, please jump in.
Most probably there's a problem, an internet problem. Let him come back.
I think his device, his earpiece has a problem.
Yeah, must be battery is gone.
Static. Yes, I think something like that must have happened.
Bluetooth.
Hello, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandeep, go on.
Okay, so here I come back to the wire world. Okay, now it's time for me to go to the timer of the day to please give the report how well we did in terms of our timings.
Well, thank you, General Evaluator. It was a very nice meeting, and I'm certainly exhilarated by the fact that every speech and evaluation was within the time limits, and none of the people got disqualified. Starting with the speech section, Speaker 1, Toastmaster Ashutosh Mundra, had a time of 7 minutes 19 seconds. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Seema Ramesh, had a time of 7 minutes 23 seconds. Speaker 3, Distinguished Toastmaster Satyadev Basu, had a time of 6 minutes 20 seconds. Speaker 4, Distinguished Toastmaster Aryan Pal, took a time of 7 minutes 19 seconds. And moving on to the next section, the evaluation part. For Evaluator 1, Distinguished Toastmaster Rohan Nag, he had a time of 3 minutes 26 seconds. Evaluator 2, Distinguished Toastmaster Shivpriya G, had a time of 3 minutes 26 seconds. Evaluator 3, Distinguished Toastmaster Brati Ghosh, had a time of 3 minutes 20 seconds. And Evaluator 4, Toastmaster Panna Ray, had a time of 2 minutes 42 seconds. So that's from my side. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much for timing all the speeches. I know that we talk about Toastmaster, we only talk about the speakers and the evaluators, but every single role players that we have in a Toastmasters meeting have to learn something out of it. And we also improve our listening skills, our evaluating skills by playing any of the roles in the meetings. Thank you for that, all the role players over here. And with that, I think we have almost come to the end of evaluation. I will say a thing or two about the other aspects of the meeting today. And the best thing that I liked about the meeting was that it started on time. I think we were hardly 1 minute late. I won't call it late because I have been to meetings which started half an hour late also. So I think we started on time, and this punctuality is also a hallmark of all the leaders. So kudos to the club. It is quite a new club. But when you have senior members like Jennifer goes in your club, I'm sure that you have to have that kind of standard maintained in your clubs all the time. So I think that was a very good thing. Then the meeting started with the Sergeant at Arms coming in, but unfortunately there were some technical problems over there. And then Krish immediately come to her rescue and took the proceeding from there. So that is also that we need to learn. We have to improvise quickly. We have to see whether the meeting is not, the meeting doesn't go haywire just because one or two things do not go as per the plans. So I think he came straight away after that. And then he introduced the president of the day, president of the Toastmasters Club. And Seema, of course, she came and she looked and she spoke like a president of the club. And she obviously also took the introduction of all the guests over here. She talked about the club, that how it is only, it's a new club. She also ensured to acknowledge all those who are present from different parts of the district. And so that is also something we have to, we all need that kind of acknowledgement, validation, although we say that it is not required, but there are people who may mind. I'm not the kind, but still. So it is important that whenever somebody is coming and attending your club meetings, you have to give them and show that kind of a respect, that yes, somebody has come and he has taken the pains to come to attend your meeting, be it Shivpriya Gauri or be it someone as good as me. So these kind of things are there. And Seema was very good. She, even if a guest is attending the meeting for the very first time, it depends upon how the president is starting the meeting, because for a guest, he does not know much about Toastmasters, so he would obviously look up to the president. So if president behaves or talks like the president, then obviously it makes the right impression to the guest also, and there is a greater chance that he will become the member of the club. That was good thing. And then obviously Seema introduced the Toastmaster of the day. So that is also one thing, that whenever we are inviting anyone on the stage, we have to make sure that that person is introduced nicely. So even if there is nothing nice to say about Jenny Di, you will have to invent something. And when you have so much to say about Jenny Di, then obviously she said, and she invited her nicely. And Jenny Di, obviously I'll talk at last. But some of the other role players, I've already talked about the evaluators here. I think evaluation was perfect today. Very nicely done. But other role plays also, the R counter report. I have been a part of many club meetings. I have not seen such a nice template for R counter report. So that was very good. And it is good when you are writing multiple and you're not writing 120 and 140, it makes it less embarrassing for the speaker. And it is also good that the speaker knows that he has been doing it. That's why I said in the beginning itself that I have a proclivity of saying a lot of R's and M's, but I know that I've did it today also. So probably I would be able to do it a little better in my next meeting. So that was good. Grammarian, again, he made sure that he was not talking only about the improvement, and he also talked about the nice usage. So anyone who could use nice words, obviously, but although I would say there were so many nice words today that even say if you took Satyadeep Basu's speech, probably we could have found 10 nice words, or Ayan Pal's speech, there were so many nice words. Even the evaluators were using such nice words today. So there was a possibility of using some more phrases in terms of good usage. But I can understand that it won't have been too easy for the grammarian to read out so many nice words in a single meeting. But I think he did his job very well. Timer, of course, Timer did well in terms of specifying in the beginning itself that nobody crossed the limit today, time limit today, and everybody is on time. So that was there. So in terms of role play and everything, overall the tone of the meeting was also good. I think we must always remember that we have to keep that fun atmosphere alive in any Toastmasters meeting. It should not become like a boring college lecture when somebody is coming and giving a lecture and people are not even wanting. So that is something I would have liked it if everybody had shown their faces on the screen, because as I said, especially for the humorous speaker, it is very, very difficult if he could not see the faces of people laughing, on his jokes, or so. That is something that people can do unless they are sitting in bathroom. I think they can switch on their videos and show their faces to everyone. So that is good. Overall, I think the speeches, the evaluation, everything was fantastic. And of course, whenever a meeting is successful, a big credit goes to the Toastmaster of the day, which we can say for today's meeting also. A lot was dependent upon how the Toastmaster would perform, and she performed brilliantly as expected from her. I think nothing, as we have often heard, that nothing great has ever been achieved without enthusiasm. And the kind of enthusiasm and energy that Jenny Di brings with her, and the laughter, that unrestricted laughter that she comes with, I think that is something which brings in energy. And as I was saying, that the fun atmosphere automatically gets created. So even if somebody is attending the meeting for the very first time and he's overwhelmed to see the speakers of Ayan Pal's caliber and everything, he would know that he has come to the right place, that he does not have to worry. There is a fun atmosphere and he can easily learn from these champions, or he do not have to feel worried about whether he can speak as well as them. So that is something which Jenny Di could do it. Other thing for which I would like to commend her is that the kind of anecdotes that she, I would say, she brought in from everybody's life. It was not easy. When she asked me, I didn't know what to say, because it's very difficult when somebody asks for that aha moment, because sometimes there are so many, but you can't think of any. But she kept on pestering me until I gave her one. And I'm sure that she would have pestered every single guy over here who gave their this thing. So that means that she took her role very seriously, and she did not leave anyone out of it, and everybody could say something nice about their speeches. And she added her own, I would say, vocal variety, voice modulation when she was talking about all that. So it also added humor and levity in the meeting. So that was something nice that we could see from. That is not something new that we have seen from Janidhi, but that is something nice that we always see from Janidhi. So that was very, very well done. If I have to give some recommendation to Janidhi, one or two things about the speech topics, right? So I think you missed it one or two times, or especially when you're talking about Ayan Pal's speech. Probably instead of coming it from Ayan Pal, it should have come from you. That Ayan Pal is going to deliver an impromptu speech today, probably to generate even more excitement among the audience, and then say that this is the speech topic that he would be speaking on. Similarly, when Satyadeep Da was asking you to give the speech topic, so that didn't look very professional. That could have been avoided. Even if the president of the club or anyone else has not given you the name, you could have asked them. The way you asked for the anecdotes, I think you could have asked this thing. But other than that, I think it was a fantastic way that you conducted the meeting. Fun atmosphere, full of enthusiasm, and fun but thoroughly professional. So that is what we need to achieve. All of us need to do that. So I think that is something that comes very easily to you, that you can be very, very, after inducing, and at the other moment, you can be very, very professional. So I think that is one skill that we need to learn from you, and you showed us how to conduct the meeting, and you get full marks from me as a general evaluator. And overall, the meeting was fantastic. I was a bit surprised at how would the meeting go, because there were so many champion speakers, and whether we would be able to give any sort of feedback to these speakers. But I'm sure that the speakers would also be taking something away from this meeting, because no matter what is the level of your competence, there is always an opportunity, there is always a scope for further growth. So for all of us, whether you are a general evaluator or a Toastmaster of the day or the speaker or the evaluator, we all have learned something from here. And I think all of us are much wiser now than we were before entering this meeting. With that, I will give the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day, Janidhi.
Thank you so very much for that fantastic comprehensive evaluation. I think today we had a wonderful general evaluator who took us on a journey of enrichment, enlightenment, and exploration. All of us were able to explore about our speeches, and we were able to see where we were going and what we were doing wrong. And so beautifully put, Sandeep. I must say, I must give credit to you as the general evaluator of trying to bring out, you know, those uniqueness about a speech and deliver it to the audience here today. I want everybody to put their hands together and give him a big round of applause for that. Fabulous, fabulous evaluator, I must say. Our general evaluator kept us on the brick, and I do apologize because I did not take the speech title from any of the speakers. It was my mistake. I overlooked it. And as I say, we are here to learn. So this feedback which Sandeep has given me today, if I don't take this as a good learning and never do the same mistake again going forward, then I am not making progress. So thank you, Sandeep. I got a bit mixed up with the GE taking the title or me taking the title. And I think I'm doing this roles after many, many years. So I keep getting things mixed up in my mind. So I'm very sorry. If I was the GE today, I would have forgotten to take the tag report, in fact. So this is the type of mistakes I still make. And there's no harm and there's no shame. I believe we are all here to learn. And as long as your mind is open to learning and you accept that you are human and you can fail and make mistakes, I think that is the biggest learning ever in our lives. Before I end the session and hand it back to our Madam President, I would just like to leave you with a very, very inspiring story which touched my heart. I read it on Google again and again and again. And I thought it would be a very nice aha moment of ending this session. So there was a son and a father who went to a restaurant for dinner. The father was a very old gentleman, fragile looking, frail, and walking very slowly. And the son made him sit down, and he put a napkin around his neck, and they started dinner. While they were having dinner, this father started eating with his fragile hands and shaking hands, and food kept on spilling all over, crockery fell down, and the other diners around kept on looking at them in embarrassment. But the son, he was so cool as a cucumber. He kept talking with his father, having a very lovely, loving conversation. And after dinner, he took his father slowly to the washroom and got him cleaned up, and he brought him back. His hair was all combed, his spectacles was put on properly, the bib was out, and he was looking absolutely fresh. And as he came into the restaurant, he was looking just like that. After paying the bill, when the son was taking his father and moving out of the room, one of the fathers over there who was having dinner with his family got up and called him, and he said, "Son, you have forgotten something." So he looked back and he says, "No, sorry, I don't think I've forgotten anything." He says, "You have forgotten, you have forgotten to realize that there are so many sons in this room who you've left with an aha moment." And that, I think, is the biggest lesson for all of us, because we are all mothers, we are all fathers, and we are all of parents. And when we look after our parents in this way, that could never have been the biggest aha moment of our lives. So over to you now, Madam Toastmaster. I would not like to delay the meeting any further, but thank you, everyone. I had a brilliant, brilliant session. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster, TM Seema Ramesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And a huge round of applause, please. I think she really deserves it for keeping the show on today, in today's meeting, because it's always the Toastmaster of the day that makes sure that the meeting goes in a smooth flow. Before I conclude the meeting, I'll just request everybody for a few seconds to turn on your video so that we could take a photograph, please. The PR really requires this. Thank you. Okay, who's doing the honors of taking the photo? Krish?
Without Brati, yeah. Brati, done. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'd quickly like to make...
Vishnu got me, right? Thank you.
Well, I'll before I move on, I'd just like to say something. It's usually the universe that always conspires that I need to do something wrong. Only then everything will go smoothly. This has been my life story for quite some time. And today was a classic example. I guess I was nervous about giving my speech, or I don't know what. I very conveniently forgot to acknowledge the the presence of our club growth director of District 41, DTM Ayanpal, DTM, 3 times over. But I'm glad I forgot that, because he had a massive introduction, and the way he delivered his speech, I don't think that he really deserved my introduction, but I'm so glad that things sorted out in their own places. I'd like to just take a little bit of feedback from guest Hetal. Ma'am, if you could please unmute and turn on your video.
Am I audible?
Yes. How did you like the session today? And could you please give us some feedback?
Yeah, the session was really amazing. It was like exhilarating. The word of the day, it was the best pick for this session, I must say. And the speeches were outstanding. I was left speechless after hearing those speeches, which is an irony. And yeah, I am really looking forward to attending more and more sessions and utilizing my Saturday in the best of the day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. And I can see Roshan Kumar. I don't think you introduced yourself at the beginning of the meeting. If you could please unmute and turn on your video so that we can.
Roshan is from Infinity. I think he's.
Okay. Okay, this is what happens when you don't attend all meetings of all clubs. You don't recognize the members. I'm truly sorry.
I have.
Okay, then I think we can move on to Siddharth. Siddhartha, is he another Toastmaster?
Yeah, hi, good evening. This is Siddharth, and this is the second time I had attended any Toastmaster event, and it's really exciting for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please do join us again.
Thank you.
So I guess we all have been waiting for something more of the results, but I think everybody knows in their mind who the awardees already are. So let's just move on without much of asking to guess or anything. The best role play in the category of the R-counter, timer, and grammarian. This we need to guess. Okay. Harsh. Toastmaster Harsh as the R-counter. A huge round of applause, please. You did your role beautifully today. In the category of, yes, Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, and no topic master. The award goes to, obviously, DTM Jennifer Ghosh, the Toastmaster of the Day. Huge, huge round of applause. And in fact, I was planning to ask DTM Sandeep Raturi for a feedback, you know, the general thing, but then he has given such a fantastic feedback of our entire meeting that I don't think I need to disturb him again. But then thank you so much, sir, for attending today. And you did a fabulous role as a general evaluator. It's been quite some time that we have really seen such meticulous evaluations, sir. And a huge round of applause, please.
Seema, you need to call him in as a T-mod. He does a fabulous job.
Oh, thank
Amazing
you.
he is.
Krish, that is for you.
Okay, and next we move on to the category of the best evaluator. There were 4 evaluators, so it's something that we need to think about. And it goes to DTM Rohan Nag. Huge round of applause. I think he's left the meeting because he has to be elsewhere. But fantastic evaluation that was. And last but not the least, the best speaker for today, obviously, without any doubt, hands down, goes to our impromptu prepared speaker, 5 to 7 minutes, Ayanpal DTM 3 times over. Huge round of applause.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say a small little thing. So I was supposed to deliver a different speech today, and I was not getting access to Pathways. I think Pathways was down, and I thought it will not be morally right that I delivered that speech because I had not gone through the project in Pathways. So I took this decision to deliver this speech, and I think just the way the universe conspired for you, the universe conspired for me. And instead of missing the opportunity, I got Miss and Universe together, and I delivered a speech. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you, Jenny, for that topic. Thank you so much. I'll remember this topic
You
for a
are
very long
most
time.
welcome, Ayanpal. And just for DTM Sandeep Raturi's information, it was not cheated. I did not tell him the topic in advance. Now you are also becoming like another Satyadev.
No, Sushmita Sen is his favorite actress. No, anything you ask about Sushmita Sen, Ayan will go gaga. Sushmita Sen doesn't know about herself what Ayan knows.
But actually, he did not go on the topic. No, he spoke only about beauty, Sushmita Sen. Where's the myth?
Huh? that is why it is a myth.
This conversation after I conclude the meeting.
Yes, after the meeting is concluded. Yes.
Sure.
Okay, wishing you all a very happy Independence Day in advance, all of you, and I hope you enjoy the meeting next time as well. And please do join in next Saturday, same time, 4:30 to 6 p.m. I conclude the meeting by clapping my hands again once more because I do not have a gavel. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining in.
Yay! And just now that the meeting is officially over.
Is it over now, Seema?
Yes.
Can we talk?
Yeah, I want to tell you. So I said one of the often heard things is beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.